In the box of the Valuetom B10 webcam, we have the user manual, a mini tripod, and the webcam itself. It is made out of plastic, but it feels like the cheap kind of plastic, like if you drop it, it's going to smash into 1,000 pieces. It can do 1080p at 30 frames per second, connects through USB 2.0, has an inbuilt microphone, manual focus which can be controlled by turning the lens on the front, a field of view of 85 degrees, and the standout feature is the inbuilt light. This is a white light and it is 5500K, and it is controlled by tapping the light bulb symbol on the front, and this allows you to use either the low, medium or high settings. And it's compatible with Windows, Mac OS, Chrome OS and Android. The head can be moved up and down without too much resistance, but there is no sideways movement available. The base can be folded out to expose 2 rubber pads to help keep it secured onto your screen, and there is a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom to attach the included tripod if that's how you prefer your setup. When plugged in, there will be a red light to show you that there is power going to the webcam, and a green light when it is active and being used. Beginning in a completely dark room with no ring lights on, and you can actually see us, which to be honest I wasn't expecting. There are lines going across the image which doesn't look too great, but the movement does look good considering that there is no lights, and it looks as though we are getting the full 30 frames per second. When toggling through the different light settings, we didn't really see too much in the way of an improvement to the image. If you are very close to the camera, then you can see the glare from the light, and whilst it does bring a little more light to the image, there are still lines being displayed across the picture. Moving on to using natural light coming in through the window, and it doesn't produce bad results at all. The colours do look a little bit dim, but the lines have disappeared, which was plaguing the image when there were no light. As it uses a manual focus, you will need to have a play around with this to get yourself into focus, but we found that if you've got yourself some distance between yourself and the background, then you can get a slight blur to the background, which makes you stand out a lot more. Once again, using the light on the front didn't bring any improvements to the image quality, so if you're looking at getting this because of the built-in light, then you will be disappointed with the results. But when we bring in our own standalone ring light, this is where we get the best image. There is some warping to the sides, but overall it's not too bad. It manages to keep us in focus throughout, and if you have it set up directly in front of you and you're not dancing about like us, then the webcam will do a decent job. But you will definitely need some external light source to get the best picture. Focusing on a small object once again does a decent job, although the colours do look quite washed out when we did this. We have the lens set at the same as what we filmed ourselves with, which means that if you get extremely close then it will lose focus. You can adjust the lens on the front manually, and this will allow you to get close-up objects back into focus, but if you move further away then you will need to adjust the lens again. Setting up the green screen behind ourselves and using the chroma key removal option in OBS brought some issues, mainly because the webcam colours look a little dim, which means that the green looks dim, so when we try to remove it, we don't get ourselves a very clean result. We may have been able to get better results if we spent a little more time playing around with the lighting, but this is our usual setup where we don't normally have any issues. This is an audio test using the Valuetom webcam. This is the kind of audio you can expect from the inbuilt microphone. Comparing it with a few other webcams in natural light, and it's not too bad. It is a little dull in colour, especially when you compare it with the Nexigo, which has a brighter image and more realistic colour. And when we bring in our own ring light, it makes it a very capable webcam. Maybe not the best in colour representation, but it will certainly do the job, even if it does feel very cheaply made.